Okay, so I was going to film this in January. I am filming, it's technically the 24th, which for most people it's Christmas Eve, and for me it'll be Hanukkah tomorrow. On the actual day of Christmas, it's the first day of Hanukkah, which that's not usually the case. It's kind of rare, so it's an interesting year. I wanted to do, turns out, I guess it's 8 decks. I was thinking it was 7, and then I was like, how could I forget? So, I believe it's 8 decks, so my top 8, and I'll count them again at the end and make sure it actually is 8, but I believe it's 8 decks that I've, these are the decks that I keep coming back to, during 2024. There are honorable mentions, so really maybe I have 10, but I don't have them all out here to film. This first one, so I wanted to mention a few that I know don't get mentioned that much, because I am primarily a medium. Like, I would say I do multiple hours of mediumship every day, although it's basically with my spirit guides and with my angelic team, and helping other people with my team. And so it's like mediumship, but I'm not actually that into ghosts. I'll just say that. Like, I don't really, I had sort of a traumatic childhood with that, and I was like, you know what, not really for me. But I am still a medium. I just like directed it in other directions. So I wanted to definitely mention, I have kind of, I've done readings with, sorry, it's not going to work. I've done readings with this deck. This is the Cosma Visions Oracle inside the box. I've done readings with this deck for the channel. In fact, this is my second copy that I bought specifically for the channel, because I did a little experiment and put the energy of my guides into my first Cosma Visions Oracle, and I have to say, it's so powerful at this point that it actually blew me away. This is the only Oracle deck that I'm going to mention, but I just want to, because, like, I can't stress enough that this creator, James R. Eads, I guess, like, his work is built around portals, and, like, this deck in particular is for, sort of work with the other side. I would say it's hard to describe, like, what he was going for, but as a medium, I can tell you that this deck, which again is the Cosma Visions Oracle. Sorry if you can hear my cats. It's about to start snowing, so it's a little chaotic here. I decided to film before it gets even darker. So you may hear my cats, because they are, like, doing stuff. Yeah, and it has an incredible box. I mean, everything about the production value of this deck is just incredible, and it, like, feels like a portal to me. And then I got obsessed. I basically have all of his decks, because, I got the regular tarot deck for working with my uncle, who is across the veil. And I wasn't even going to mention my uncle, because I have a whole thing with him. He sort of is the reason I fully open to mediumship. He's always bugging me, do more mediumship. But, so the back of the the cards. I'm really not good at flip throughs yet, but the back of the cards kind of matches this box. It's not exactly as vibrant, like peacocky, exploding kind of colors on the back, but it is green with like kind of almost this top design, but not quite. And I'm sorry that I can't do flip throughs. It like breaks the video in my phone. So I will include flip throughs in the description of all of these decks. But I have to say, as a medium, like this deck blew me away because I felt this feeling like this deck is like a portal. Like it was like bringing me like to the like even closer to the other side. So I use this deck exclusively with my team, and this copy I will say is not quite as charged because I wasn't gonna experiment with that twice in a row. This is the copy that I got specifically for readings for YouTube. Specifically because the energy of the other one is like off the charts beyond what I would have ever imagined. Like it's actually, I could keep it in a wooden box because it's very intense. Like it is like, you know, I do get like migraines sometimes from the intensity of my mediumship work, and like this is enough to like be like, oh, like my head, like, oh my goodness. So anyway, I wanted to mention that one first, and then below it I have the second deck that I feel is like this. This is Soul Cats Tarot by Lisa. Let me get the name in frame. Lisa Robertson. And basically I use this deck with animal communication. And I have to say, it gives me like the same feeling. Like there are many cat decks out there, but this is my favorite cat deck by a large margin because I get that same portal feeling. Like it's about soul cats and it's about talking to cats that are on the other side and guiding you. There's a lot of, you know, obviously there's like superstitions with cats, but I really believe that like they guard the other side. And that's after my experiences my whole life. Like, you know, the way that you could see like a cat looking into the other side. Well, there's also cats on the other side looking back at us. As a medium, I can tell you that's a real thing. And so, like, anyway, but this deck gives me that feeling. It's like talking to the cats that are, like, staring back at you from the other side. And I do use this effectively with animal communication, including with people who are grieving. And it's incredible. So these two decks, I would say that the first deck is really for like communicating with like a spirit team or humanoid spirits and going on a journey sort of into the underworld kind of thing. And the Soul Cats deck is like if you want to like really communicate with your soul cat or like a cat on the other side. I can't say enough about this deck. Like it blew me away. I could like feel it through. I just like watched a video and I could feel this same like portal energy through the video. And I just like I wanted to highlight this because it's just like incredible, these two decks. And like I don't see a lot of people like mentioning them, but also like I know that my experience as a lifelong medium like changes my perspective a little bit on mediumship and tarot and everything. So those are like my recommendations for like if you really want a jolt of the other side. like where spirits actually are. Now, my third deck, this one surprised me, okay? I got this deck. This is Dream Raven Tarot, which is not the same deck as there's another, there's a Raven's Dream Tarot, and it's not the same deck. And I got this deck because I could not get Raven's Dream right away. Like, I had to wait until it was reprinted, or it was up for being reprinted. It's being reprinted now, but I got a spare copy through her site before she reprinted, which was amazing also. But I was like, I need a Raven deck. But then, like, I was actually really surprised. Like, every time that I cannot pick, I'll be like, I can't decide what deck it should be that I pick from today. And, like, no matter what, it'll be like, my team is like, you know which one it is. It's the Dream Ravens Tarot. And, like, I have to say, like, the colors of this box are, like, the colors of the cards. They're very pastel, very, like, it's very, they are Dream Ravens, okay? They are not black birds in this tarot deck, and it is a little bit like you would think. It's like almost to the point it's so pastel that it could be off-putting, but like I've like woken up out of sleep and like my team is like pulled from Dream Raven Tarot, and I'm not exaggerating. So I know that it definitely has like probably some Odin energy in this deck or something, because I know just over my lifetime I've worked with Odin a lot, and it's gotta have, I don't know, but it's like when I can't figure out what I need to figure out, it's always this deck. And like I said, eventually I ended up having the Raven's Dream Tarot, which is not out here because I love that deck. But it's just not the one that I go to when I have, like, no other idea what I'm doing. So this was the one that surprised me, like, honestly. Okay, now moving on. This is again sort of revealing something about myself, but this is the Muse Tarot. Now, everyone talks about this creator because this is the creator of the Light Seers Tarot, but I don't know, I originally just was like, oh, I have this thing, if something is really overhyped, like, I don't want to get in it. I have a mini of the Light Seers Tarot, so I have, like, worked with it a tiny bit, and I have it in my house and everything, but this deck is her other deck. I believe that she has two. I could be wrong. She might have more, but this one came second. And, like, this book is, okay, so I'm a writer, and this is absolutely for, like, any artist. And I was, like, on a quest for, like, creativity-based decks, and I have some other ones. But, like, this one, like, every book entry has, like, a descriptor, and then, like, a prompt for if you want to use it for art. You might see my cat. Hold on. Want to see my cat? It's my cat! My cat! Hello! It's my cat. I have two cats, and I think you've seen my other cat in other videos. I have a Tux. But this is Fuzzle, my calico, who is very maternal and very cuddly. But anyway, so this book has every single one of them has a little poem and a prompt. And it's just so gentle, and it's like so, the suit names are changed to be like more in line with creativity, like, I think water is like emotions, and then like pentacles is materials, and I can't remember the other two changes. But they're in line with being a creativity deck. And I just like this deck makes me want to be creative. I want to go and write after I pull from this, which is exactly like that's what the deck is aimed at. And it's just like so, like, I love it. Sometimes I pull from like I keep some on my table, and sometimes out of these that I'm showing you today, like I'll pull from 3 of them to get 3 cards from 3 decks. Which, by the way, if you have issues shuffling, which I do sometimes, that's a way to get around shuffling because they're all shuffled differently. And I will say more about shuffling adaptations because that's the number one question I always get. Now, this one, we're back. I have already reviewed Under the Oak. I also reviewed it on Amazon. Because I have to say, like, I have been pulling from this deck like my life depends on it. Like, sometimes 3 times a day. And I'm like, I'm out of questions and I still want to pull cards. It's good. Hold on. This is actually, I didn't realize, but there's all different kinds of stuff on this box. This is actually, I guess, the back of the box. So I haven't shown this side because I didn't know that the back of the box had a whole different picture. But I guess they're having soup or tea or over a cauldron. And the reason it's like this right now is I picked it up from the floor because my cats knocked it on the floor. Which is one reason I'm not leaving all of these decks out until January 1st because my cats have started knocking them off the table. They were behaving about my tarot space, but they're over it. And, yeah, actually, I just, like, pulled a cat hair off the thing. Anyway, I've already covered this deck, and there's one more repeating deck in this batch. But I covered this deck already in my disability representation video, which was my last video. And I'll show you the other sides of the box because I didn't realize all 4 sides are, and it is Low Scarabeo, but distributed in the US by Llewelyn. But yeah, so anyway, that's beautiful. I love everything about this box. There's not that many that are top-down boxes, but like everything about this box is incredible. I think I've shown all 4 sides now. Yeah. So, I know it's not a flip through, but that's a lot of detail for the box. And then the other thing, like, about this deck that I love is that there's a protagonist, like, not just the Fool, but, like, an actual character, I guess, Anima. And she has, like, a summary in her own words, of each tarot card. And I thought that's really above and beyond, especially for Low Scarabeo. Sometimes the books are just kind of whatever. So I don't have that many Low Scarabeo decks because the book does, like, matter to me and everything. I appreciate that they put everything in, like, 4 languages, and that's why the books can be a little spare. So let's move on. So here's my other one repeating in terms of disability representation. Again, the art of the box. Oh, why is this upside down? Hold on a second. The art of the box is really, and it really is like this for the cards. It's a lot of reds. This is another Lisa Robinson, and I also want to honorably mention she has a mermaid deck, which I also have. And that deck has picked me up out of some dark moments. Like, I pull from tarot, especially if I'm off to, like, a medical appointment, and, like, I especially lean toward. So that means like I have three Lisa Robinson decks, and I really do pull from them like when I'm really like about to have like a medical thing that I have to deal with. But that's exactly why I pick this one to highlight again, because it really highlights for me the neurodivergent experience. And again, I've put in my last video, I put a flip through. I will do so again in the description of this video. I want to move on because I don't want the video to like implode. Just a second, sorry. Okay, so now, this was also a surprise. This is the Llewelyn Tarot, which there's the classic Llewelyn Tarot and the Llewelyn Tarot. And the Llewelyn Tarot was made second. And it really surprised me because I knew that this creator made an Arthurian Tarot, which is out of print, and like I'll never have it, way out of my budget. Oh, and you can see the next one I'm gonna talk about, but anyway, but this Llewelyn Tarot, like so when I was first introduced to polytheism, I'm not really, I guess I would say now I'm a pantheist. I don't know, it changes a little bit back and forth, but when I was like really just growing up, the first like polytheist I ever met was like studying Welsh and learning like the Welsh like myth cycle and everything, and I connected heavily to Gwydion and his nephew Lou, and which is not to be confused with Lou the Irish god, although they have some similarities. But anyway, so the major arcana of this deck are Welsh heroes and gods and goddesses. And I like didn't even, I guess I watched it flip through, but like it really didn't register to me. I just was like, I want, the classic Llewelyn Tarot, and I want her Llewelyn Tarot. I just knew that without, just like as a matter of principle or whatever. It didn't really matter to me. I knew the art was like, I liked the art a little bit better in this deck than the Arthurian deck, because the Arthurian deck was like a little like darker, like literally just darker colors, darker shades of everything. Like everything looked a little bit swampy or something. So I was not really expecting to connect that heavily to this deck, but I really, really did, and I pull from it as often as possible, and I like felt the Welsh gods like come back into my life, and it was very freaking cool. I am very like thankful and happy about it because I haven't seen them since I was a baby pagan. It's like amazing. And I'm actually like, a lot has happened. This was almost 30 years ago. So I was never expecting them to come back, and they're back with a vengeance. So that's really, really cool. So, like, again, like this doorway feeling that I have from this deck, it's not quite as pronounced. I don't think it would be, like, pronounced for anyone who's never worked with the Welsh gods. But, like, if you've ever been like, I need to work with the Welsh gods, this is the deck that you want. So, the last one, I can't believe I'm on the last, hold on, sorry. I'm navigating with cats on the table and everything. So this one also surprised me. I got this one. There are a lot of things I like about the design of this deck. But this one, I got it because I thought it would work well with a couple of other decks. And honestly, what surprised me is that I just love this one by itself. And it's got, like, I'll show you the cover, and basically this cover is very indicative of all the cards. All of the cards are kind of, like, you can see the water element in the background of the card. That's intentional because it's the Elemental North Tarot, so it is water on purpose. But then it's got, like, all these runes and kind of sigils, and, like, each card is, like, it started as one tattoo design, and then the artist was like, I could just do 78 of these. And so it's got, like, a lot of things that I like. It's got, like, runes, it's got sigils, it's got tattoo vibes, and I find that, so, some decks want to, like, teach you the runes, but I'm finding this is the one where I'm actually, like, for real learning the runes, because I am consulting the book for this deck. I don't always, like, totally consult the book because it really depends. But I am really consulting the book for this because I know there's rune information. And I will say, like, I thought there was more rune information in the Dream Raven one, and there actually isn't. Like, in my head, I guess I mix up what's in the content of these two books. But if you're working on runes, this is an option because it definitely gives rune information for, like, what is in the card in terms of runes and what they mean. And I'm finding it a really intuitive way to finally kind of learn the runes, because I can't cast runes. I end up not being able to see what I cast. So that's not a thing that I do. It may in the future, but I'm also happy working with this. So these are the decks that I wanted to highlight. In the description, I will put full flip throughs of all these decks into the description of this video. And I should wrap this up so that nothing bad happens to the video. And I hope I have a couple of other tarot videos planned for the new year, and some guide education on spirit guides. I'm still learning on spirit guides every single day, but I do teach about spirit guides. So, yeah, so these are, like, the decks that, like, throughout all of 2024, I just came back to them, and that is the purpose of this video. And if this helped you, feel free to like, subscribe, whatever you would like to do to interact.